Hey everybody, welcome to our show. It's time for our Week 17 picks. I'm here with my co-host Shep and my other co-host Travis, the World Wrestling Federation champion. Y'all ready with us?
Yep.
Alright, let's get into this. First game is the Titans at the Texans. I got the Texans. What about you, Eddie? Texans. What about you, Shep?
Titans.
What about you, Travis?
Texans.
Alright, next game is the Falcons and Dirty Birds. They're at the Bears. I'm going with the Bears. What about you, Eddie? Falcons. What about you, Shep?
Falcons.
What about you?
Falcons.
Alright, next game is the Dolphins at the Ravens. I got the Ravens. What about you, Eddie? Ravens. What about you, Shep?
Dolphins.
What about you, Travis?
Ravens.
Alright, next game is the Patriots at the Bills. I'm going with the Bills. What about you, Eddie? Bills. What about you, Shep?
Bills.
What about you, Travis?
Bills.
Alright, next game is the Cardinals at the Eagles. I'm going with the Eagles. What about you, Eddie? Eagles. What about you, Shep?
Eagles.
What about you, Travis?
Eagles.
Alright, next game is the Panthers versus the Jaguars. I'm going with the Jaguars. What about you, Eddie? Jaguars. What about you, Shep?
Jaguars.
What about you, Travis?
Jaguars.
Alright, next game is the Raiders versus the Colts. I'm going with the Colts. What about you, Eddie? Raiders. What about you, Shep?
Raiders.
What about you, Travis?
Raiders.
Alright. Next game is the Rams at the Giants. I'm going with the Rams. What about you, Eddie? Rams. What about you, Shep?
Rams.
What about you, Travis?
Rams.
Alright, next game is the 49ers at the Landover, Maryland Commanders. I'm going with the 49ers. What about you, Eddie? 49ers. What about you, Shep?
49ers.
Travis?
49ers.
Alright, next game is the Steelers versus the Seahawks. I'm going with the Seahawks. What about you, Eddie? Seahawks. What about you, Shep?
Seahawks.
What about you, Travis?
Seahawks.
Alright, next game is the Bengals against the Chiefs. I'm going with the Chiefs, even though their poor sportsmanship last week. Watching Bull on the field there, complaining, throwing helmets around, and crying because they got beat. But I'll take them against them Days any day. What about you, Eddie? Chiefs. What about you, Shep?
Chiefs.
What about you, Travis?
Chiefs.
Alright, next game is the Chargers versus the Broncos. I'm going with the Broncos. What about you, Eddie? Broncos. Shep.
Broncos.
And you, Travis.
Broncos.
Alright, last game is the Packers versus the Vikings. I'm going with the Vikings. What about you, Eddie? Packers. Shep, Packers or Vikings?
Vikings.
And what about you, Travis?
Vikings.
Alright, that's our Sunday Week 17 picks. Y'all ready to watch some football today?
Yep.
Good. Me too. Gonna be a good day. I can feel it.